name is Lane Tucker, and what I'm about to tell you will prove that I'm about as old as dirt. I started in broadcasting right out of high school and never left it, well, still haven't left it. But I started in broadcasting in radio when the music was supplied by 78 RPM records only, plus a transcription library, and you know how far back that goes. And the transition brought forth the 45 RPM records, and I say all of this to tell you how long ago it's been since I got into the profession. But I've had a lot of wonderful, wonderful moments in broadcasting. As anyone who's been at it any length of time can say, and I've always said too, that once a broadcaster, always a broadcaster. You never want to leave it. I worked and worked. I'm Southern, obviously, a born Mississippian, and most of us didn't talk like radio announcers. You know how that goes. We didn't put the G's on the INGs and all that sort of thing. And I learned that in order to do a decent job on the microphone, you had to learn to pronounce every syllable in every word. But I worked a long time for the man who came in 1947 to put a radio station in my hometown here in Mississippi. And they announced one day that they'd like to have some local guys come up and audition for a part-time announcer's job. And my buddy and I, just fooling around, decided we'd give it a try. And it started from that point. And I worked for this man for about 30 years. And in 1950, he had brought a radio station on the air in Cleveland, Mississippi, which is about 45 or 50 miles from here. And he sent me over there for my first full-time job. Then got drafted in 1950, came out of the Army in 52, and he hired me back. And we went to Greenwood, which is about 30 miles from here, and stayed there a number of years. And in 59, same man put a TV station on the air in Greenwood. And I went from that point into television, and was in television until 1973, when I moved to Grenada and bought an FM radio station, which we later sold. But I have enjoyed that profession in so many ways, and you have so many opportunities if you're in that profession to do things outside the station, and I've always enjoyed that. I get a real kick out of assisting people, emceeing certain functions and this, that, and the other. But broadcasting has been good to me, and in fact still is. I draw a small check from a local radio station every month because I go out when they call me and do a commercial or two, and whenever they need me, I do that.
Can I ask you, Lane, what about musical experiences here in Grenada? Is there anything that you would like to tell us in regards to any artists that came through town, anything that's going on, just in general, more about the artists you maybe were playing, how record play worked in those days? I don't think we need to get into payola and all that baloney,
Yeah.
but just in general, what, if you have recollections musically?
Well, one couple of artists that come to mind in the 50s were the Four Lads, the Four Aces, artists like that who were quite popular for their day. I don't know. Everything that was popular in the 50s, I can't bring to mind the names that we're talking about at this time, but the 50s, in my opinion, those years were one of the brightest years in artists. And if you have XM radio in your car, you can bring up the 50s, and I've been doing that lately, and I keep hearing things that were so familiar to me back at that time, and it really brings back some good memories. But we also did in a radio station where we played a lot of rhythm and blues. And those artists who were quite popular back in that day, and it was a non-racial artist, actually. Most of the rhythm and blues people were African Americans, but the music appealed to almost everybody. B.B. King, as a matter of fact, from nearby Indianola, Mississippi, is one of the most outstanding and popular artists in the world, I would say. Even at his age now, he's still going. But it was a pretty good cross-section of artists, and they all were good.
Were there any venues in this area or any time when those artists came to Grenada, whether it be a fair or a nightclub or African American club or anything? Were there any places like that back since you've been here?
Well, I've only been here since '73, and since that time, that is, to my knowledge, has not existed. Although I'm sure that those artists have been here at one time or another. I know that Elvis Presley played here in Grenada once or twice, and that was back in the early days of his career. I can't recall since I've been here any well-known artists that came here. I will say this: we have an upcoming artist right now by the name of Charlie Worsham that's quite a popular guy, and he was on Jay Leno's show a couple or 3 weeks ago, and so we're looking forward to his progress.